Right. Family, I bring una warmest of greetings from the TNN TV podcast. Obviously, my name is Prince Emil Koma. Today, na the 27th of July. It's a Sunday, the 27th of July, 2025. Time on my side is approximately 7:03 p.m. Just before I kickstart the program, I just want to wish me Liberian friends and family a happy 178 years, I believe, independence anniversary. And I really want to commend them for that. There were things held on this side of town where I am. Attended one or two of them. And once again, just congratulations to the Republic of Liberia, Liberians, my friends, and families. A happy independence. I want to talk about a few things today, as we don't see because we've been not putting information out there, where I believe say is very, very important, very critical. There are 2 or 3 aspects of things that I want to touch on all the same. And the thesis what I want to propose this particular evening on this show is whether the current APC leadership can be trusted. And the question there imbibes something we get to do with party, the leadership, the people, in other words, the members, their obligations that either side get and waiting, bring them come together, and how they need for observe their obligations, then everybody get your own due diligence when they're supposed to do. So the leadership of the party is responsible for leading the party, and not only within the party, but has a national obligation, because if you want to win power, you therefore make a case to the general Sierra Leonean populace, not only to your members, whereas the members then get obligation towards the party, and the need for help the party by funding the party, pay the dues, respect the laws or the bylaws or whatever, so that the party can be one strong unit. So that is one thing that I want to touch on. The other thing I want to touch on within the same APC confine is it only about party elites, or does the youth matter? I know there's a lot of talk about youth, man, them, and how powerful they are within the party structure, which I have no doubt it is. But how much of this power do they understand that they hold, where they can use them transactionally for a positive outcome, both for them and their community as a whole? How much of it they understand? Is it down to the same every time election cycle they come? Then at the time the politician then go turn up, the elitist go turn up, and one bag gets 200,000 and buy data for them, for insult people them left, right, and center, and divide the party, fracture the party instead of unite the party. I would like to speak to that as well. And my final thought will be on former President Ernest Bai Koroma. There's a question that we pose, which is he still in charge? Well, of course, we will get to answer that, hopefully at the end of the program. But let me kickstart the program by talking about party obligation, waiting the leader them supposed to do, waiting the party itself supposed to do. So I will kickstart by saying, we get to understand one major thing. There's a saying, it says with great power comes great responsibility. And political parties such as the All People's Congress is no small feat. It has millions of followers. Decision the way they make, action the way they take, they impact the lives, the livelihood of millions of its citizens. So there's a huge responsibility that comes with this power where they hold. And we can't argue about this because this is factually correct, that they will great power and then get millions of people that support them. And therefore, that power has to be used in accordance with the bylaws of the party, not to cut in corners, especially when not necessary, not to then kata game them where politicians then will play, instead of they come openly to the populace. First of all, for begin with the party people, especially to them one way they aspire for the flag bearership of the party. Then we'll begin for cut corners when they divide the party, because that's exactly what they do, divide and rule. And at the end, they get this national fragmentation. So instead of you become coherently in a coercive way, instead you don't do that. What you tend to do is for divide the party along tribal lines, if you like, regional lines, and interest lines. One thing very important in all of this is a party need for do what we call due diligence. And I want to talk about due diligence a little bit, okay? Because it's very central to the role where the party itself they play. Now, the idea that if you respect your own law the way you draft, which is supposed to be the governing principles for the party, then obviously people will come for respect you because there is integrity within the party structure. There is discipline. There is some action that can be taken for potentially people and we go broke the rules. So compromises can be made, but at the interest of the party, not in the interest of an individual or a couple of individuals, which is rife in the party. And as a consequence, that has a backlash on the party. That up to now, we see that exactly, and elections is not really very far away, if you know what I mean. So this in itself is a real problem, and it is coming. So with all in this unity there within inside the party, it will look like we haven't seen anything else because games are still being played. So let's talk about due diligence, which is necessary and which make them very important in all political party then. Because it's important for them ensure that they comply with their own legal requirements. Very, very important. The ethical requirements then for comply. The power or the strongness of due diligence for political party is they can take action then within and without, such as investigating and evaluating news to read them and the information they wait in the process, where they give them the power for making the decision where they want to make. So if you don't do due diligence, that means you don't cover a lot of background. So that when you finally take action and put them out there to the people, then it makes a lot of sense. It makes very much sense. And the topic of due diligence within political parties is very important. I also want to talk about the youth then within the political party structure, the power we them hold. And I talk about earlier on that whether they understand this power we them hold, and I believe say they understand them, but then they underutilize them as a consequence of waiting the politicians themselves they do. Then they create an atmosphere in which it becomes difficult to live, really difficult to live. And they apply a principle of divide and rule, battle boys them. So you understand the APC grassroots, when made up of youth man them largely, and how important they are, and very important to the party and the area and grassroots. These are the real roots of the party. And because they have a future inside the party for the party, this is why I'm making an appeal to them that they need to understand the power we then wield. Then wield real serious power for effect change. You don't let politicians come buy you for 500,000, we will last you for only a month. You don't. Give you a bag rice, we will last you for only a month. Yet, the mandatory they ask you for gear now for 5 years, and not pay you for the 5 years, they pay you only for a month. But they've created this desperate situation in which the people themselves, they get little or no choice. We can understand that. But if they act collectively, they can influence these situations because it has to be in the collective. A single digit like a leg for say, again, less force. A folded fist, this analogy means now, people coming together, the youthman and coming together to say no to something or yes to something, it carries more than when they allow for that and divide them. The youths are very influential in the politics of the country. And we know say we get a very youthful population, and APC is full of these youths. And the youthman they need for understand that the hierarchy when they use now for take one of the own and bring them closer, and then they use them, that particular person when they bring closer for help for influence the young man them. Somehow this has to stop because the politics already has started. One of the questions we ask is whether these lots, and they talk about the executive right now, whether they can be trusted. That was a question, and I questioned what was it earlier on and what was it back again today. But the reason why we ask the question now, they try for expand on what in political party they need for do in order for letting leadership be trusted, which is the application of due diligence for cover themselves, cover them party, ensure the laws are respected, the young law the way they make, because it will help for make a political party more trusted. So, so far as we see, this has not been the case. And within a Boku forum then, we see what's happening, we see the exchanges then. So we do know what is coming. We know. But other people they can feel say they're smart enough for kind of get away with that, not knowing that they do more harm to the party than good to the party. The party need for come together. It need to have a full feast, a concerted effort by everyone. I don't say it's a difficult choice because for let you get the party in entirety, of course, because you get people and we go take a different view, a different opinion, even though it's not supposed to be so. Ideally, not supposed to be so, because if the party do all the application they want to talk about, so for example, then ensure say then bylaws are respected, ethics and violations are punishable. They get punitive measures for them. In other words, you can sanction a person, you can expel a person, you can disbar a person, or you can suspend them, or you can fine them. Action and consequence. This is all part of due diligence. That makes a huge difference. Certainly it does. So again, like I say, with the responsibility of political party, the leader then, it comes the kind power within wield. It comes with huge responsibilities, and those responsibilities are towards the nation as a whole. So if you don't want to be respected, what basically can happen in this kind of case now is you go there in violation of your own rules. You don't respect your own rules the way you create. And you know, if you're not disciplined, and if you don't respect your own things the way you stand for, then obviously you lose respect in a wider sense. Yes, you do. By the way, just from a formula, we will soon be returning to interviews. There are many projects coming. Yeah, I may soon be hitting the road as well. There's a lot of things here in the making. But as the election calendar they heat up, we don't decide say we get people and we go need for talk to. We've been trying to avoid the interviews at some point, yeah, and decide for do more of monologues or heighten the debate. But we know say things are warming up, so yes. So we get a few high-profile guests. Them we will be on the platform soon. So please keep these things in mind. Also, there are a few topics that are coming up which are of importance, very important to both the party and the wider country as a whole. But just back to political party, I talk about code of conduct because political party they need for have clear, definable, and enforceable code of conduct where they define the members and then the leaders. See what I've been talk about, and it has to be on an ethical and moral standard. Ensure if for cover honesty, integrity, respect, and it should be non-discriminatory. We know this, and this is what I'm advocating for, because once you put a mechanism there into place, you enforce compliance and sanction violators and any violations. Of course, then people will have to take heed. As a political party supporter, you get to familiarize yourself with the code of conduct of your party, because that can also help you for be aware on top of things, because you understand the rules based. So when you leaders, then they, in violation of them very codes them where the party stand for, you are empowered enough, and this is what you need to know, you are empowered enough for take action. I know it would be difficult for a single person, but if you create a movement, it has to start from somewhere, because this is good for the party itself. There has to be ethics. There has to be standards. These things has to be recognized. So once una understand that, una create a movement for beginning hold political party leaders them to account, then of course, then will change their plans. Then will change their tactics. But it's possible that they will reform, because why? You are sending a message that una yai don't they open, and it's not business as usual anymore. It's a different take right now. This is the kind of message that you'll be sending. And political party leaders then equally get responsibilities, because they are leading, they are the leaders, and they need for lead by example. But the membership equally need for understanding power, because when the leadership fall foul of the rules, there is obvious that they know the code of conduct, they know the rules, the bylaws, or the constitution, whichever way it is called, to take action. Those actions can be enforceable. Sometimes it's within the political party itself, but there are other places in terms of the country as a whole, the judicial process can kick in, or political party then get a new organization, for example, where complaints can be filed. So it's not like that they operate under this great immunity. No, they're not. Now, it makes so games they can play under. But once it becomes worse, then it obviously get out of their hand. Because that means within the circle of the political party, these issues cannot be resolved. And if it cannot be resolved within, then you have to go externally for seek help. But members need for really understand their position. Political party leader then need for understand their position. Political party need for be clear with their procedures, their conducts, their bylaws. They really need for be clear. There has to be an accountability process. Within the accountability process they help for do, they help for bring members then together in a respectable manner. Members, they come for respect the leaders because their leaders are principled. Principled. They stand for protect the party from ridicule and other things that will go affect the party in reputation. Because any of the action and the outside of due diligence, they bring reputation and damage to the party. And we've seen a lot of this. Remember, a lot has happened since the party lost power in 2018. Many accusations, court cases, some are still pending. Why do you think these things are happening? Because within the political party itself, they were unable to resolve these issues, because largely these issues were issues that were being manipulated inside by individuals or couple of individuals. Sometimes not to save the party, because action can be taken to save the party from some dilemma or some actions, but no, this is not for save the political skin of some of the leaders. So they take them unpalatable action there, where they put the party in reputation into disrepute. And that has happened a lot of times. There was a time when there were issues with financial probity. We read that talk there, because there are things happening so fast that people tend to forget or move on, because you can't be static. You have to move on. But if you should just retrospect, you will understand, say, so much has happened since 2018. So now we start with this. I mean, they talk about financial probity within the party, when the party at some point could not account for what was in the financial purse. And that became a ridicule for the party. And for like a whole month or two, if not two, there was this argument that was ongoing on social media, left, right, and center, about how much money the party gets and how much money they call and how much actually they did and why. So you see why due diligence good? Because it provide a mechanism for accountability, so that you were able to avoid any kind of ridicule there. And if party they learn anything from the past, this party should have gone into soul searching, Because why? The broader view is you have a responsibility also for the country. About 8 point some more million people. You have a responsibility for them because you aspire for cabinet office, and decisions that you will make, that you are even making now, it impact the lives of millions of these people, your compatriots. So it's an obligation on your part. But that obligation today, now respect for your own rules. I mean, you therefore forgive me for being repetitive about the rules, but because I find them quite important, and sometimes Englishmen say, you therefore rubber me, but then get sober effect. Due diligence. Party need for carry out investigation, investigate itself. And that investigation there, not a witch hunt. Not because you want a kind of transparency and accountability process in which then there is mutual respect within both leaders and members, vis-a-vis members and leaders. And even outside of the party itself, others will be admiring the party because why? There's a process of accountability. There's a process of transparency. And people generally like that. They like transparency. If I give me money, I want to know how money they go or what you do with the money. This is a general accepted practice, and it's proven fact that people incline for go that way. So if you're accountable, it also helps you for be a vote winner, because people then will doubt you if in the end you not the account for the things the way they say you do different things. In other words, they quite the opposite. So speaking from both sides of your mouth, they say one thing here and another thing on the other side. You become distrusted, and that is not the way it should work. You're not supposed to work that way. So another thing what we want to bring to Pambulem is ask the question whether Ernest Bai Koroma still they in charge of the party. Absolutely. Ernest Bai Koroma is still in charge of the party. There's no doubt. I know some people have questions because he's so far away. But Ernest is very far away, but at the same time so near. Because I don't know how to explain this. Everybody now when they seek the flag bearership for the All People's Congress will have to visit Ernest or will have to maintain some kind of contact. But I believe at some point it has to be a physical visit, because you remember, you don't want compromises. You probably don't want to make a phone call because it might be tapped. Many other things, security issues and what have you. And for now, it's like Konani business, private business. But yes, that is happening. I can assure people of that there has been a lot of back and forth somewhere in Nigeria where Ernest Bai Koroma is. Because you therefore go kiss the ring, as they will say. You therefore go Konani to this man. Because in the end, you therefore get the nod from this man. Until you say, finally, you are the one, or go ahead. And get away the advocate structure anyway. So that is happening. So Ernest is very much in charge. Not because the Freetown or the Salon proper. So that means no. He's in charge of his party. You therefore remember, say, this current executive na handpick. But going back to the question of legitimacy about the current executive, the reason why these questions are being asked is because of the same thing I don't talk about for the last 20-25 minutes. One of accountability and one of transparency. If they were accountable, open, fair, then questions about the legitimacy would be laughable. And then a few people would have been saying that because, we expect 100% for say yes because of special interest. But a greater number will really matter. Yeah, would have been clapping for these people, would have given them, all that they can in terms of support. All waiting again in terms of support. Because why? There's clarity, there's a vision. But unfortunately, there has been many scandals within the party. And as we speak, the party is hugely divided. These are all facts. It's hugely divided. The greater task or responsibility now how to unite this party so that the party will get a viable chance of the 2028 elections. As we speak, some people still haven't agreed that 2023 is a done deal. Even though personally, I've expressed myself about 2023, but I've decided to move on because the country is not static, it's moving on. This is why we been get a process of implementation for the tripartite, the conditions for go forward. That's what they agreed on with political leaders then. They had a meeting. They had foreign people there helping we either as observers or for mend the fence and move forward. That okay, waiting not happen, it don't happen, but this not gonna happen again. And if so been there in place, then waiting happen will not have happened, but not because it not been there in place. So now going forward, for it not to happen again, this is what we need to do, and that's what we're waiting for to be implemented. And some people, if it's an implementation process, you're not just at the snap of a finger. No, it doesn't work that way because you get to be aware of how these things work. Somehow, not as a whole, but somehow, because there are precedents, many, in which there are political entanglement, constitutional crisis in different countries, and how opposition party and ruling parties or just the leadership, interest groups, and what have you come together for form of peace, because it better for us to find a solution peacefully for move forward, other than the country going up in smoke. At least we can agree on that. At least we can. So this was the situation. But because again, there was no openness and transparency. So therefore, we see waiting happen. Just a quick one. Again, we get a few topics that we want to talk about in the coming weeks. Like I said, there are many programs in the making. I'm going to take my bag and hit the road. That's something that I very much want to do, and I think I'm going to do it. We'll go back again into interview mode. We got a couple of lineup, some very serious names, and wanna keep a lookout for the flyer. Some of the things that will be one way I get for talk about I just want to bring up phone Leona see. Yeah, I want to bring up phone and make una see. But whilst I look for them, the things that I want to talk about are that got to do with Alpha Khan, Dana One, Alpha Khan. Alpha Khan appears to be very resentful. He might have a reason to, but I just identified it. Very resentful towards informer party, because I'm not thinking the party again, and informer boss. Obviously, he is no longer in the employ of the former president. So Alpha Khan, very resentful of Anes Baikoma. Two good friends that we see them go back. So you see what in politics can do and how corrosive it can be. But then again, when you get your interest, and definitely what Alpha they do is now in interest, now they try to protect. There is so much at stake, and in particular in power. But when you turn cold so and you're not quiet about it, what will happen in 3 years' time if the All People's Congress return, to power? I mean, are you going to be shameless again and begin for find a way, for comeback and can't explain to the general public, oh, you know why did you do this? Now because of this, now because of that. You see what they talk about principle? A man has to be principle. The word of a man needs to be the word, for the man or of the man. You need to stand by it. You need to get the temerity, the tenacity, the brass neck for stand on the basis of principle. Then you command much respect than when today you there, tomorrow you there, and come on. So yes, then one topic we want to talk about Alpha Khan. Why is he so resentful towards his former boss and friend, the former president Anes by Koroma? Another thing we'll get for Rob Motman, the chairmanship of the All People's Congress. There are speculations But one particular name where me they play, and I will really want to talk about that. Now, Honorable IB Kabu. Is there a possibility of IB Kabu being the next chair for the All People's Congress? So definitely, we are going to be talking about that. IB Kabu. Is there prospect of him being the next APC chair? I think yes, there's prospect. Will he? Well, that's what we're going to discuss. We're going to find evidence by the time we program the show sometime next week for see waiting an Honorable IB Kago in chances, society what they come out, the possibilities, and many more. Okay. Back to topic. This one a short one, and we'll end soon, about 7 or 12 minutes for go. It's just a 45 minutes program. When a political party enforce the code, we define the party, both the members and the leaders, and all the ethical and moral standards. What they do, it cover honesty, it bring come respect, and then it shows that the party get respect for everybody. So in other words, there are no discriminations. Okay, you therefore put a mechanism into place for compliance, and you therefore be able for use the law for sanction violators then. So I want to talk about youth man them just to go over this. The need for understand the power with them will. They not need for they allow themselves to be used as such for the cheap, because even yourself supposed to feel very cheap. And this is what our politics has come to. And me, they advocate for a change. Me, they say the youth man them the power where they hold, and they are the future for the country. By the way, there is no denial about this one. They are the future of the country, and right now there's so much energy. Yeah, and then very important, and then votes, they're very important. This is why you see politicians of all stripes, when election they come, they don't go organize their youth man them, but the way how they can organize them, not so in a good way, but the youth man themselves need for begin for understand this. Then they go meet you in a port and go buy jamba for you. And then you think say somebody they do you good? A politician was supposed for change your life, and politicians themselves, you know, I mean, you know the shame that you want to keep your citizens in such a place, in such a way. And this is the problem. So yes, it's a two-way thing. As election they come, you go to port, you buy then tranga gene them for them or them. Then you demand them because you want them vote. And some of them you want to use them violently or let them go do, some havoc for you, whether not for threatening people, intimidate people. You organize them as gangs. And these are the very people that you expect for rule over when eventually you cannot power. Just think about it. Who sense we make? So you see, you create this compartmentalization of youth man where get competing in different interests. Because you will go up now for a college, now book now you want to go talk there, which is good. We can understand sit down in up now for a college. But the one they were up for a college, then clever enough. Of course, these are academics. Yeah. So you're careful when you go into them, and you therefore go to them, you're in a more subtle way, in a more professional way. The one that went in a ghetto, you feel say then a riffraff. But instead of you go speak to them on how you will take them away from the ghetto, which you get for do for them or able for do for them, for change their life or lives. Instead, you go help for put them more into a condition that they're in, with potentially for different reasons, but that's not a condition where people are supposed for they're in. Your life cannot just be, you're consigned to the ghetto. Especially for, when I say your life, I mean for the duration of your lifespan. Ghetto na day you smoke, drink, go and do whatever, come back again the next day, and that's just it. No. Because every human being divide for lift their life up, and sometimes you need a little help or jack boots or whatever for bring you come up. This is not something we all divide for, all mortal man and divide for. Some not get the means, some not by sababu, but we go meet people of that kind already they perish, and then you go help for kill them off just because you want not a one-time vote. A good politician will be one where They get policies in place we will impact the lives of these very people who are disenfranchised in the society and they don't get any other way other than just living in a ghetto, because again, there are no job opportunities. So instead of you politicians, they can promise them in a good way, not to can lie to them. That's why a good politician, and he go say this to the members of the public, the youth man them, to get for cut this video and send them to them and scatter them all in a freedom. When politicians come to you, make sure you open your ears and open your eye. The reason why you yes and your eye, and on some occasion you nose as well, because you want to smell them when they talk. I don't mean to be rude there. It's just an expression. No intent. You hear enough for look up and study body language until they talk to you, because you know so when person they talk to you, largely you can see whether the person is saying the truth, whether they're honest, whether they mean waiting and they say, or they just they lie to you. You can tell. Largely, you can tell. The yes now for your proper waiting that person they see and try for process them. So before you give you commitment, if you don't make sure say you don't process waiting that person they can tell you, you don't observe them, and you don't say a mean waiting they say. If politician come to you now ghetto, and not can tell you about opportunity, we will pull you come on that ghetto day for make your life better so that you can live potentially a good life, family life. In other words, create opportunities for you away from there. They're not a better politician. And if you can't give money, I'm not going to say no eat them. But of course, if I eat them, because probably in a public money separate it is. But the point that I'm trying to make, the bigger picture here is a politician for able for help the disenfranchised in a society, the one that waited below the poverty level, help you fellow citizen, because in so doing, you they create a community where they help a community, and this is what youth man can do. Because when you help them, then they help the community, because these are youths, they get so much energy in them. They can able to bring projects to the same community, then they live a decent life. In other words, crime rate set go can down. Because why? They are now probably they earn or they are gainfully employed. They get means. Unfortunately, with politicians, they still continue to go rogue on all sides because they don't become a kind of culture. We also will get few names where potentially might change this trajectory, because I've been listening to them speaking. Forget the other one, they win our wealth 9 and they flaunt. And that is not the answer to Sierra Leone's problem. Sierra Leone's problem now is economics. So anybody when they aspire for that position there, you have to have an idea about the economy, how it works. If you get project, you get for cost the project. And this is what we do when we listen to politicians. You get for cost the project. And not only costing the project, but we go also let for know also you they pull this money for finance the project where you talk about. We don't want something like in 2018, whilst the current president was being interviewed about free education, which was really embarrassing. Also they pull the money, almost not the money, and he couldn't even tell. No idea, and that was really, really embarrassing because the man had no clue. A project that was supposed to be a flagship project, he screwed up the answer. Couldn't get the figures right. Call a palpable sum. Will not make no sense at all. And then he went on, here to the budget of the country, where they get for appropriate towards education, which was in itself a good thing, but you dismember other services in the government or other ministries in the government. Because while education is really important, but 22% is already gone there. And it's not even enough. So crowdfunding, other sources, other means, international aid, and etc. will have helped to buckle it up if it was well thought through. Because clear to me at this point that this policy will not be well thought through. And the man bungula up right on live TV, yet apparently he was still voted for. This politics must change. This is 2025. And by the time we reach to 2028, if we don't be more sophisticated, and I don't say this lightly, because when we look at the current situation in the country, it's pathetic how the youths are being ruined through drug cartels, the taking of kush. This is really, really terrible for the future of the country. And in some cases, largely, politicians are helping to facilitate people in power, in positions of power and trust, are helping to facilitate this process because they want to keep the people as such. Because for them, a better way to keep the people so than the people and wise up. Because if the people and wise up, then we ask them questions of probity, integrity, and things of that kind. So when you just consign to get to smoke and then sleep and then grab and then fend food, and politician can give you 2,000 or 10,000, then you're good. But you have to imagine this is your life. So you see the damage that's been done to the flowers of the country, the youths of the country, the tomorrow for the country by same politicians. And all they say, this has to change. And this is not direct appeal to the politician then. I mean, this does not augur well, except you're just a beast. Because if you care for legacy, if you care for your country and understand that no country is an island, in fact, we live in a community of nations, a global village, they call them, I believe. So there's interaction between states, nation states. But then your own country, while other countries, then they develop and they make strands, then they move on, quantum leaps in physics, science, and other related areas, call them music or something, some industry. You now get to regress, even though time is moving. They go back like Michael Jackson, they do backslide. I mean, how do you feel? How would you feel if you go sit down with your fellow head of state, una sit down, and that person in country they do so well? There is gainful employment left, right, and center. Academia they work, but as the system, the education system, they churn out people. Now, so the society itself, the workforce that's been created, they absorb them. So they are paying back into society by virtue of the trade and with the non-land. Whether not vocational, whether not science, whether not art, but somewhere they are absorbed. Engineers over the lawyer, them over under, accountants and over under. Country is moving. But then look at your own country. Look at the stats. It's so bad. It's so pathetic. It's so pitiful. Yet still, the same politician, and some of them, are expecting the same of the same again. So the code of conduct for a political party is very, very important. And that has to be respected. A for sure clear and enforceable code with a defined member and then leader them, and then responsibilities either side. And the mutuality between both, because they belong to one entity. And there's something that defines them. That's the guiding principle. Where na in the middle of them. It's like if una depa osusu. The osusu na the converging force na in the middle of una. Na then the people are concerned with. Na in bring people and come together. And it's not only there are rules that members have to abide by. These are the guiding principles. Na in keep una together as a unit. So it's the same thing with politics. Another thing we'll go rob much more is Dr. M.L. Bangura. On this platform, we don't profile Dr. Mara, and Dr. Mara has a special show here, which is aired by a wonderful young man, very au fait with the issues themselves. Yeah, you will have seen him. He's a rising star. So in the host that program, the Dr. Mara, the new vision for hope. And so far, he's made a good case for Dr. Mara. He's articulated the issues. And because there's a proven track record, it becomes even simpler for talk about the man. because there is a point of reference, there's citation, something you can refer to. And he will be back next week. He's on every Saturday at 6 o'clock Sierra Leone time, 7 o'clock UK time. Every Saturday. It's almost like a Mara hour. In fact, the show is dedicated to him. So he's done a SWOT analysis of potentially the people and we already don't express their intention for become the flag bearer and potentially the next president of the country. But in focus, as you can see, they zoom on Dr. Mara. But we still have more people to talk to. I will be talking to a few of them. Dr. Richard Conte, of course, a very good friend of this platform, always available for kind of expressing thoughts, something I deeply appreciate. Dr. Emel Bangura, I was supposed to interview him. We had an agreement, but somewhere I think the trail went cold. I don't know for which reasons, but we will try again because we need to talk to them. Joseph Kamara, commonly known as JFK. I mean, these people have expressed their intentions. We will bring them here. We can promise sooner that. We don't care what's happening in the background. Who does not want them to come? You know, because we know telephone calls can pick up, you know, X, Y, Z. Yeah, so we know that these things are possible, but we will keep trying because the business and the way we do. So another issue will be Dr. Emel Bangura. Is he a good thing for the APC? And I not say a good thing in an insulting way. I mean, will it be okay for the APC? You know, because the expectations of APC now is high, very high. And people, they expect, you know, the party will unite. Ladies and gentlemen, witness Dr. Bangura in meeting. He talked nicely. Yeah. Well spoken. Talk about some of your achievements and what have you. But again, those are political rhetorics. But obviously, it has to be backed up. But not only when you don't get any chance now, but it makes the case now for them. But one thing we accommodate with, there were a few things, but the key one is he said publicly that should he lose the race for the flag bearership, in other words, if not to in the process appoint or elect, you know, get no problem at all supporting who that ever emerge as the winner. You see, this is good spirit. This is good gamesmanship. Good gamesmanship. You concede and then you support. And that's exactly at the paraphrase and though, that's what he said. That he will support who that ever emerge as the flag bearer. Very well, Dr. Bangura, if you're listening. Yeah. So we go Chamot Pan and Small next week. Like I said, these are the few things we will talk about next week. In other words, Honorable IB Kabo, is he going to be the next chairman of the party? Dr. Alpha Khan, why you appear for this so resentful to informer boss and friend Anes Koroma? And why did they throw in your party under the boss? You know, yes, so informer party, because of course it's moved on. I remember some time ago there was an argument saying, oh no, the man not go eating one food there, one food there. I mean, with all what he was doing and saying, and people that they still say in one food there, in one food there, yeah. And then we go do an analysis of potentially the election where they come up, you know, the different districts and factor on by the people and we commodity and how the politics they play now. Let's say, for example, let me just give a typical example. Just take a look at Port Loko. One of the shining objects then we've been doing Alpha Khan under the APC, and then you get Kemosi say, of course, Kemosi say is unwell. I pray for recovery. Alpha Khan was there for the All People's Congress, but now he's supporting the SLPP. The polar opposites to the APC. That's what Alpha Khan is supporting. And it's not new because he don't do them a few times, you know, and their by-election and other elections there where he stand right by the first lady and then make some outrageous, you know, yeah, kind of statements. But we know exactly what happened because the place seemed to be predominantly APC area. So then we respect you because you were red. The moment you change red to green, it becomes something else. So it's no longer the same. So we can understand that, but with money, a lot can happen. This is why we are preaching to people and say, be prepared, be aware, be cognizant, say waiting you believe. Act on the basis of principle. Okay, so all of that they come. I think so far this is it for today. I could just buttress again the points they want to make, which is, for begin with, to understand youth political participation. We therefore look at politics. Youth politics now a decision maker now many countries. Youth politics is a decision maker in many countries. And the process can affect a group of young people, and if they make the wrong decision, they stand most to lose. That's my point I'm trying to make. So youth political participation imply where young people become politically active, and they participate by elections, local, general, presidential, and all the other elections the way they come up. Okay, so that's the way it works. I also say that with great power, where the leadership of the party hold, it comes with great responsibility. And what's in particularly true regarding political party is the decisions them and the actions them we can take. It impact the lives of very many people, in this case millions of people, hence why it's very important. So we also need to understand a political party they're not exempt from unethical behavior. In other words, the behavior has to be ethical. It's important because you don't want compromises in that case. You really don't want compromises in that case. And this is what it bring the issue of due diligence that I spoke of, and very important to this conversation, because within due diligence they do, very crucial, like I say. What it actually they do, it help political party then for operate in a transparent manner. And we will understand and agree say transparency is very good for party. Accountability and ethical manner. With all of these, it brings dignity and respect from the public generally, and your members specifically. Very important. Politics, nothing where they play a huge role for shape with society. So not to joke. But it should not only be because election they come, that's when these political leaders do turn up. You have to imagine this. And political parties must, I repeat, must be held to high account. They should be held accountable for things that they do and things that they say. Okay? So that comes through a standard of transparency and accountability. Because we'll hold them to account, it help for justify their position and the way that they take in terms of their ethical behavior. Political party, they're not to the company, but at the same time, they get responsibility for make sure they then comply with legal, because not to the normal with the young law, then outside of it, they are bound by laws of the country, both by the constitution, we get a word for say about politics and political party them, and by specific organizations them which are empowered by law, like the PPRC, all political party registration and the process we then get for go through and understand. So they get for live and comply within the laws and regulations. So the reason again why due diligence by a political party is very crucial. Now, because political party then definitely have to take actions so that they will comply with all the legal things that we bind them, the ethical behaviors that we bind them. Okay, due diligence for political party, we can only say that when a political party commission investigations, okay, for evaluate and verify information the way they get potentially for action the way they want to take, it sounds very good and make absolute sense. Due diligence for political party then fumble is important, and this goes to the All People's Congress and the leadership. Fumble, I wish for India for today. There is much more coming that we get for talk about. Una keep una eyes them open and ears them open, because the conversation is only going to get heated and very exciting as well. Like I say, we are going back into interview mode. We'll get a couple of lineups, high profile. I will be hitting the road, for a different project. Hopefully, that has been pencil. Just need for turn from pencil to pen, and we see what happens. And next week we'll get a couple of monologues based on what I just say about ML Bangura being a better candidate for the APC. Honorable Ivy Kabo, potential next chairman for the APC, and Alpha Khan, why is he so resentful to Anesko? Why? These questions. These are all questions, by the way. So thank you very much for listening. They asked Una help for share the program. Another thing of concern just before I go is, why is it you get thousands of viewers? I mean, this thinking really baffled me. You get thousands of viewership on a video, but then you get only 100 likes, 200 likes, or in some cases 50 likes. Something doesn't match up. And you get feel free for also contribute to the program because the program is interactive. You have to be able to ask questions. Sorry, we will not get much now for ask. Only Peter Dowda, just see him that he ask questions. So what you say, the APC are afraid of change, so much so that they cannot move on without Ernest Koroma in tow. Well, I don't think political parties normally, they fear change because they like the same of the same, especially the leadership, because change means they are likely to go. And the fact is, the APC need a new dynamic leadership, a young, new dynamic leadership, a new dynamism. This is a fact. That's what the APC needs. And we get plenty of young, intelligent, sound people for take the mantle. Look at the chairman. He's unwell now. So he might not be able to function in that role. He's an old man now, might not be able to function wholly, So they just hold these reins of power. So partly you're right, but not to the way you express them, Dauda. Many thanks for that. And G4 says, welcome everyone. Yes, I agree with that sentiment there. Welcome everyone. So I mean, just to talk about the likes. But listen, we get 5,000, 10,000 viewers, and then you get 100 likes, 50 likes, something no match up. So I am appealing, please ensure that you either like or dislike, and feel free for comment. We entertain every comment, sometimes questions, because as we do the monologue, we also pay attention to the page beside people in the comments. And once you comment, I mean, there are things that are potentially you may want for us to address while the live program they're on. So please feel free for do that. And please subscribe to the platform. Go to our YouTube page and subscribe. Make sure you hit the bell, because a lot of people they ask they get the notification any longer. I don't know why, but potentially not because you hit the bell. Facebook page not the same thing. Make sure you hit the bell. Go to the notification tab so that whenever we go live, you won't miss it. Something is just wrong with our page. I know in the private page we have in the live stream before. Thousands of me friends them subscriber them get notification. But as soon as I create a specific page for the program, I'm sure it cannot interfere with the private page. Also, a lot of the people who have been follow, because I get people asking me, why are we not seeing the notification anymore? So something wrong. So I'm on the lookout for somebody technically in the know for help me for resolve that. It's been a TNN program. Please like, share, and that's the only thing that I'm asking you for. And thank you so much for watching. Until we catch up again, can I just say goodbye to all? Bye-bye.